Good evening, I'm Giuseppe Basile, the Analyst and Trader. You can find at the website www.fibstalker.com. I also post regularly on Twitter using the fibstalker nickname. Good evening, today is Tuesday, March the 18th, 2014, and it's the 10:30 p.m. time in Toronto. And in this video, I'm going to review for you all the 11 markets, very quickly, all the 11 markets I follow. Let's start from the Euro-Dollar, which is what you see on the screen here. You remember last week we trade an extension long from these highs to highs, and that was a very good trade. Congratulations if you got this trade. And this week we have a continuation higher. We saw participation at previous level of support, which are given by the next measure move in the sequence here. And as you can see, we got support starting in 138.70 area. Price never got below 138.46, and we have target above for this market. As you could see here, we went back to retest lows, which was another opportunity to enter this market today, and I think we're going to continue higher here also because we might see some weakness in the dollar. The dollar could be breaking lows, and this would be new lows in the last few years. The S&P 500 did not stop at that all the way halfway back from highs to lows. There was we witnessed some sort of participation on the downside there, but eventually the market continued higher. And we can see here that yesterday we stopped at this level. In the morning, if you look at the 4-hour chart, we started having participation at this 1852 level that I've mentioned yesterday, and then we continued higher. So on the 4-hour chart here, now we can look at an extension long to see whether this extension will be respected. So the next level of support in this market come at the where this blue line is, 1861, and could have the potential to keep pushing higher into previous highs. So we'll also remove this other level here. So we have the potential, if we respect this 1861 with a stop below 1858, we have the potential to go into 1869 and then 1863. So keep in mind this trade. Moving to the dollar index future here, we saw that the dollar is actually approaching lows, and there is the potential for the dollar to keep moving lower here and break the previous lows that we saw in October. If that happens, the euro dollar of course will continue higher into 141 level of target. Finally, gold break the sequence of measure move. You will remember that in the last few weeks I've been looking at a very important retracement here. The market indicated the way, as always does. Program trading rules will tell us when we don't have a clue of what the market is doing, will tell us what the market is doing. And you remember that in the past few weeks I've identified this level 1294 level of anchor here, and we had this 1338 target. Price could not make it into the second level, and then traded again into the next level of support, and this was 1320. Price went into first and second target. We saw a little bit of participation there, and yesterday we saw an important development because the next measure move in the sequence here, as you can see, broken today. We finished below the level as well. So at the moment we have two levels that we have to watch. One is 1285, and there is the potential for this market to go to get all the way to that level. There is also another level that I'm going to watch, and I want to study what is going to happen when the market approaches this level. That's the 1332 level. Now, what is very important in this market is that we should see a continuation lower, and this also means that if the market comes into the and trades the all the way halfway back here on the daily chart 1371 with a stop above 1375.80, then we could see a continuation lower either into this 1332, or even a continuation lower in extension into 1285. We need to see how this market behaves if we get continued weakness in the dollar. So 1371 is a level to watch. Moving to the Japanese majors, starting from the US dollar to Japanese yen, the daily chart. I will move to the daily chart. You will remember that in the past few weeks I identified this 101.53 level coming from a sequence of measure move higher on the weekly, and you can review my weekly newsletter. If you don't receive my weekly newsletter, just go to my website and subscribe for it, and usually you receive also the six previous issues, and so you can see my analysis in the last 6 weeks, and you will see why I trace from these lows. So we got this area of resistance 101, sorry, support one starting at the 101.50, and it worked 1 2 3, and we had a reaction yesterday, and still we are in this area. So there is the possibility still for this market to reverse and continue higher. So what has to happen, of course, we know we need now to see a break of the highs to lows here, and that's what that's what would be for me a signal that this market is actually reversing. So I need to see this market above 101.68. That would be a buy with a stop below recent lows. We will use previous lows here, printed on March the 14th. Excuse me. Moving to the euro versus the Japanese yen again, the daily chart, we have a similar situation here. Today this market found against support at 140.65. I mentioned this yesterday as well, so there is the potential for a continuation higher, although this trace is just an extension higher. It's not a proper trace. There is so the possibility for this market to move back into the all the way halfway back, and this would be slightly lower around this 140 level. So we need to keep an eye on 140.65 as well as 140 level here. Now moving to the pound versus Japanese yen, again the daily, all this market, as you can see, are retracing into a level of support, which is an all the way halfway back or an extension. And here is the same. We saw price moving into this area, and you will remember that I was looking for a retest of this area and a bounce here, but that didn't happen. The price actually printed the new lows. So it's very important here to study what's going on the smaller time frame. We had this break of this extension short, which never got to the first target, but then the market started respecting today this 169.04. So what I need to see on these 15 minutes is a break of this measure move. As you can see, this measure move is working at the moment. So the first thing I would need to see in order to confirm support would be 168, 67, 68 break on the upside, and then again we need to break this level of area of resistance here starting at 169.04. So I would need to see price above 169.30 and then maybe trade a retracement long. Moving to the pound, finally, you will remember the last few weeks I've been mentioning this extension long. This extension long is coming from a sequence, and let me trace for you the two measure move of this sequence. The first one was an extension from these highs to highs, and we saw participation at this 158.50 area here, which eventually brought price into first and second target. And once price got into this 167.77 second target, we saw that basically the price couldn't make it higher. Every time we got into this level, we saw some sort of profit taking. And then I mentioned that the next level of support would come from highs to highs, the next level in the sequence. And what happened here today? We just got participation at that level. So that's the reason why these things happen, is because program trading is obviously looking at this, watching this these levels closely, and actually program trading moves an estimated 30% of the volume of the market. So it's very important to follow what program trading is doing, and that's what I do. What I do in my method, I attempt to spot the footprints of program trading on price. And now, yesterday I mentioned a trade, and we were within this all the way halfway back. These are always high probability trades, so you should always keep an eye on these trades if they are in the direction of the actually path of least resistance. Like in this case, we were expecting price to move into 165.40, and we also have this short from highs on the 13th to lows, and congratulations to those who took this trade. As you can see, went right into this 165.56 first level of target, and which was also within this area of support. So it was a very good for ratio, for reward to risk ratio trade. So now we need to confirm the long setup. We need to see price actually breaking above this level, this next level of resistance. At the moment, this level is being respected, so I need to see price above 166. 12, 21, 20, 21, and then we can trade long with a stop below lows. If the US dollar continues slower, we should see this price moving higher. So this is a good long here. Australian dollar versus the US dollar is breaking above this consolidation here. We saw longs fail, short fail, and that's exactly the definition of consolidation. Now we have this 192.09 looming up above prices, and yesterday I gave you trade. Congratulations to those who took the trade. It was from these highs to highs. It was a continuation higher, and price actually respected this area of support 090.70 with a stop below 090.59, and we brought price into first target and previous highs. So the next sequence, in the sequence, the next measure move is from previous highs to highs, and this move higher is still valid if we get into this 090.84 and we bounce and continue higher if we never get below 090.70. Moving to the Australian dollar, to US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Again on the daily, also we are in a consolidation on top of extension long here, this 109.68, and let's see what happened to this market. That we were in this sequence of measure lower. Unfortunately, price never made it into the first target 110.16. That was very close, but actually there was a mean to exit this trade because we had highs to lows here, and this 110.77 traded, bringing price right into that first target. And so the next sequence, the next measure move in the sequence was traced from these highs to lows, and we saw participation in this 110.53. So buying above 110.61, 62 with a stop up below lows would have made the trick here, and actually now this market is continuing higher, and the next sequence is going to be, the next measurement is going to be right at this 111.18 here with a stop below 111.11, and if we break this level, we move from lows to highs. Finally, New Zealand versus the US dollar. Again, this trade worked, and as you can see here, the level I gave you yesterday worked. There was marginal break of this 085.40. Let's see if 46. So never broke this if we were 1 pip below, as we usually do, and we broke price into first and second target, and now the next measure move in the sequence is this one, so we are still into that. I hope this is useful. Congratulations if you got the trade. Thank you very much for sticking around, and have a great trading day tomorrow. Bye bye now.